Are you looking for a way to cook the perfect tri-tip? In this video, I'm going to show you how to master the art of reverse searing a tri-tip steak so that you can have an incredibly flavorful and juicy piece of beef every time. You'll learn all the steps in mastering this art so that you can cook dinner like a pro. Hello, I'm David Ellis, pit boss of Machete Boys Barbecue, and if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Let's begin by making the rub. This is an incredibly simple rub, but packs a big punch of flavor. To make the perfect rub, we'll need some coarsely ground, high-quality spices. Here's your shopping list. I combine all the ingredients for the rub in a burr grinder to make sure that all the spices are properly mixed. This is important because when it comes to flavor, consistency is key. And this method ensures that every bite has the same flavor profile. The coarsely ground mixture also adds texture, which adds even more complexity to the flavor profile. Once the rub is ready, we can prepare the steak for smoking. Preparing the tri-tip is simple. We just need to clean up the silver skin that may be left over from processing. For this step, I like to use a salmon slicer, as a thin and flexible blade makes it an easy task. I'll lay the steak flat on the cutting board and then slowly slide the blade underneath the silver skin. And we do have like a little bit of a raise here, so I'm going to use my knife just to feather that out just a bit. And there's a few small little pieces that are hanging over here that I don't want to burn on the smoker, so I'm just going to clean those up. So once the silver skin is off, it's time to season our steak. And you may have noticed that I transferred our rub into an old shaker that I keep in the cabinet. These are handy for having around just for days like today. This makes it easy to get a nice even application of the rub while also ensuring that no area is left untouched. I like to apply a medium heavy layer of the rub, making sure to cover every inch of the steak, as this will help to create that perfect bark later on. Today I'll be cooking the tri-tip on the Weber Kettle. To get the perfect temperature, I'm using a combination of high quality charcoal briquettes and chunks of hickory. Now that the smoker settled in at 250 degrees, it's time to get the tri-tip on. This is a crucial step in the reverse searing process as we look to tenderize the beef and develop a little bit of a smoke flavor. We're going to leave it on indirectly until it reaches an internal temperature of 118 degrees. All right, our tri-tip has reached an internal temperature of 118 degrees. It's been about 40 minutes, so I'm going to pull it off, tint it, let it rest on the counter for a few minutes while I get the other side fired up so we can sear it. All right, our tri-tip steak has reached an internal temperature of 118 degrees. It's time to go ahead and get the grill ready for searing. If you're trying this on a gas grill or a pellet smoker, you just want to crank that baby up as hot as she'll go. If you're using charcoal like me, and you notice that your fire bed has gotten a little low, go ahead and dump half a chimney of lit coals right on top. To sear your tri-tip, place it directly right over the hot coals and flip it about every 30 seconds. You want to be sure to keep an instant read thermometer handy so that you get the final temperature just right. For this tri-tip, I like to enjoy mine at about medium, so we're shooting for 126 degrees final temperature. Just remember that when resting your steak, the final temperature will be about 5 degrees higher than when you took it off the grill. While the steak's resting, let's make up one of my favorite sauces, chimichurri. It's really simple, and I'll put the recipe for you just right here. The recipe says to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of red wine vinaigrette. I like to do 2 tablespoons of red wine vinaigrette, a squeeze of lime in there too as well. Perfect, that's going to complement our steak really nicely. Slicing a tri-tip can be a bit tricky, but with the right technique and a little patience, you'll get the perfect slices every time. There are 2 key things to remember. Slice against the grain and don't cut too thin. When slicing a tri-tip, it's important to remember that the grain of the meat usually runs in 2 different directions. So we want to slice perpendicular to the grain. The first cut that I'm going to make is where the direction of the grain changes. And then you just want to slice perpendicular to the grain. Remember, not too thin. Let's see how we did. Grab a slice of tri-tip and a little bit of that chimichurri. That's absolutely perfect. Thanks for joining me on this reverse sear journey. I hope that you learned a few new tips and tricks. Now that we've gone through all the steps, it's time for you to subscribe to Machete Boys Barbecue. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.